Hello. I decided I would make a video of my vertical sleeve gastrectomy with hernia repair that I had just went through. I was looking for videos on like the men that have went through this, and there was only a few that I could find online. So I thought, well, maybe I would try to help out some other men and women. It's for both people. So I put together a list. Right today I am 5 days post-op. So leading up to this, it took a good year to get to where I finally had the surgery. Um, the start of this, I kept thinking that I was having heart problems, which comes back to the fact that it was the hiatal hernia. It took them forever to figure that out. Um, the doctors at that point said that they wouldn't repair my hernia because of my weight, because it would just come back. So the only option that I had was a doctor finally said, well, we that he would repair my hernia and do the sleeve gastrectomy, vertical sleeve gastrectomy at the same time. So that way I would only have to have one surgery. So I thought about it and I was like, okay, whatever, let's do this, because the hernia was just a pain in the hiney. So at the start of my journey, before I started the main diet, I was at my highest weight ever, 380 pounds. Well, then when I finally got to going on the journey that I was going to take here, when they finally first weighed me officially, it was 370. And then for 2 months straight, I lost 10 pounds each month by trying to watch what I was eating, because I wanted to prove that I was serious about doing this. So then they start the 2-week pre-op diet. That's another story. I was camping for the week, and I bought all this stuff to take camping with me. And lo and behold, somehow I got my phone call out there in the country saying that my surgery was canceled. They wanted to do more testing before they would schedule my surgery. So then round 2 came, where they finally said, okay, well, we want to look at your lungs. I had to go see a lung specialist because my lungs had collapsed. Well, my lung had collapsed twice previously. So they wanted to make sure that I could go through the surgery and be okay. So I had to see a pulmonologist. I had to go get a test where they stick a tube down your nose into your throat, and it measures your swallowing, so make sure that you were swallowing okay. And throughout all of that, then they finally said, okay, well, they set up the date. And so then I started the 2-week pre-op diet. Now, the 2-week pre-op diet, the best way that I found was with my doctor. I don't know, I know there's more doctors than mine, and there's a lot of doctors out there. There was 4 columns, A, B, C, and D. In each column, there was column A was different kinds of protein drinks and powders. Column B was protein drinks and powders. Column C was I'll get into that. It was Nature Valley protein bars, a small apple, and deli meats. And then the next one was another one of those hard-boiled eggs or something like that. So what I did in my book is I went through and I kept me on track because I made a menu. So my menu, you can see I have day 1 and I have all the way through day 14, which is the 14 days pre-op diet. And then I have a B and S, so it's breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, and dinner. You can have your big meal during any part of the day. You can have it for breakfast, you can have it for lunch, or you can have it for dinner. For me, um, I usually had my biggest meal for dinner, so I opted for dinner as my bigger meal. Um, so on that list, the Nature Valley protein bar was my go-to for breakfast because I never was a breakfast person. So I just got in a habit of grabbing one of those Nature Valley protein bars, and they're pretty good. Um, and just eating that as I'm out the door going to work. Um, and then in between that and lunch, I would have one of my protein drinks. So I would just choose during the day. There was two different ones because I didn't want to mix the powders and get all that concoction right. So I just went and got the easy ones that were already pre-made on the list, which made my life easier. And then I only had to shake it and drink it. So there was two different ones on that list. One is in one column and one is in another column. The one in the one column was the Premier protein drinks. Um, these you get at I got them at Sam's Club because they come by the case and it's cheaper at Sam's Club. Um, they had chocolate. They had they have chocolate, strawberry cream, banana cream, caramel, cookies and cream, and I can't remember what else. But those ones are pretty good. And then the other one from one of the other columns that I had to do, I just got the Boost, so I didn't have to mix another powder and get it all correct. It has to be the Calorie Smart, or there was another one, but so the Boost, you can get those at the same place, Sam's, Walmart, uh, any of those kind of stores. And so for my lunch, like I said, on one of the columns, there was a small apple. So I went and bought the small Gala apples, and I would take one of those to work, and I would slice it, and I would put stevia and something to give it a different flavor. I'd put stevia, and I would use ground cinnamon and mix it on the apple, and then have a tablespoon of Jif peanut butter natural. Creamy, flavored, low sodium, 7 grams of protein. And I would dip my apple in that and kind of take your time eating it because it's really not a lot. And that way you would feel fuller during the day. Or I would switch that up, and the next day I would have like lunch meat because the deli meat. So I got hooked on Walmart deli meat, going there and having it sliced because they have a million flavors. You just have to watch. You didn't want to get high sodium, and you gotta just watch what you're getting. So you would be able to have 3 ounces of deli meat. So I would weigh out 3 ounces of deli meat and then 1 low-fat string cheese. And of course, I'd pull the string cheese and take my time eating because that's not a lot either. The one thing that I would say is make sure that you do get a scale and a measuring cup for all the pre-op diet part. Even leading to after it, I'm still going to need it because you still want to weigh and make sure that you're not eating too much because your stomach is already, they shrunk it basically. So you don't want to push it overboard. And then for dinner, which was on there, you have one meal, bigger meal. You can have 4 ounces of meat, so pork, chicken, a steak, and 3 cups of raw vegetables, or a cup and a half of cooked vegetables. I opted for the 3 cups of raw, and then I would add a tablespoon of fat-free dressing of your choice to the top of it and stir it in. Or you could have a tablespoon of avocado, because you want to have a little bit of fat in there, I guess, too. So they give you those options. One thing I did learn is to measure or to weigh your food after you cook it. Because I pre-measured all my steaks and pork chops and everything and froze them in individual bags. So I had them all ready. All I'd have to do every morning was take one out. And then I read somewhere and I'm like, oh yeah, it does shrink. So after I cooked my 4 ounces that I had in my baggie, I cooked it and then I weighed it one night just to see, and it was 3 ounces. So from that point on, I started making my bags. I rearranged them and made them 5 ounce bags. And then when I cooked it, it was 4 ounces. So that way you're not cheating yourself out of what you could be having. Uh, um, so I'm going right into the, I was going to try to do videos like one for the pre-op diet, one for the liquid diet stage, but I'm in the liquid diet stage, so I'm just going to do one now. And then I'd probably do another video for whoever wants to listen on the pureed, and then the soft texture, and then going into the regular diet. So right now, after all of that, I've started now, since after my surgery was September 16th, 2019. Today is September 21st, 2019. I went to Walmart and I bought these they're 2 ounce shot glass, plastic shot glass cups. And all of my liquids I've been pouring into that and then sipping them. And some of the videos that I've watched, people have been like, sip, 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 slow, slow, slow. Each person is a little different. Like, I can drink a little bit faster than some of the videos and not have that pain like they're talking about. But every once in a while, if I get a little too carried away, like the other night, I thought, oh, I'm thirsty. And I just took a sip and I was like, oh, wrong, big mistake. Don't do that. Just be mindful and take your time. Sometimes it does help. So you want to keep track of everything you drink. So the first day after surgery, I really didn't have much of anything. They gave me water, and that was about it. That was the day of the surgery. I came out of surgery, and they gave me some water, and I drank some of it. But I was so out of it, I mainly slept most of the day. However, I did get up and walk the hall a couple times, because I know that that's the way you get out of the hospital and it makes you feel better. However, I had like the gas pains from them putting that gas inside your stomach to lift it up. There's still some gas in there and it has to find a way out. Don't ask me how it works, but I know for the first 4 days, last night, day 5, was the best night I've had since sleeping wise, because when you roll, that gas was rolling around. Well, I think I finally got enough of it out that it didn't hurt as bad, like the reflux part. So now I'm on the 2 weeks clear liquid and protein. So there's 2 columns. You have your protein side and your clear liquid side, and you want to make sure, they try to make sure that you have 64 ounces of clear liquids and 2 to 3 8-ounce 2 to 3 8-ounce containers of protein. So like I said, I don't want to mix. Really, I don't like mixing. It's just so much easier just to buy the stuff already pre-made. So I'm back to my Premier Protein drink and my Boost. And so they're already pre-made, so you don't have to weigh anything. You don't have to mix the powders. If you like to do that kind of thing, that's up to you too. I just wanted to make it easier for me. On the clear liquids, I guess they consider anything that's like on my list. I have a few things here that I'll show you, like just regular water, just whatever flavor that you want. I add in, well, they said Crystal Light, but I use the Grape Value, and I'm hooked on grape as long as they're sugar free. And I add one of these to one of those big jugs of water. I'm not drinking that whole jug right away. It takes me, time to put it in my cup and drink it. But that way it gives it flavor. They also on my list gave me different choices of things, so I got a whole slew of liquids just so I wasn't getting sick of the same thing all the time. So one of them was this multivitamin, or vitamin water zero, sorry. So it's the vitamin water zero, and there's different flavors in this. So I got a few of those flavors. There was the G2, Gatorade 2, G2s. Um, this one is becoming one of my favorites. It's the raspberry lemonade. Uh, and I don't know how they decide clear liquids. I think it's something to do with like how you can read, if you can, you can read through it. And then they started this new, my dietitian, that was another thing my dietitian did. He came into the room the second day before I got discharged and was going over some of the discharge things and some of the liquids. And he told me, he goes, like I said, you have column A and B, or 1 and 2, which is protein and liquids. And he's like, there's actually now this third new column because they came out with these new drinks. And they are called Protein 2O. You can get them at Walmart, or not Walmart. I haven't found them at Walmart, I should say. I shouldn't say you can't, but I don't know. I found them at Sam's Club. And they come in a case of 12 or 16. And there's, I want to say, 4 different flavors in there. So there's mixed berry. This one's mixed berry. And then they have harvest grape. And then they had, I don't know what the other 2 flavors, I think one might be fruit punch, I don't know. And then the other one is coconut, which I'm giving all the coconut away because I just don't do coconut. Ugh. But the positive thing about these, the protein 2Os, according to the dietitian, is that this fulfills both columns because it's a clear liquid and it has protein. So you're getting both your liquid and your protein. So I've been trying to drink a lot of those rather than the others. However, like I said, they all have their own little flavors and stuff. So I kind of bounce back and forth just to give me different flavors. Another thing that I have gotten into, well, I haven't tried yet, but on the protein side of that, of the log, they have the Carnation Instant Breakfast. I remember having them as a kid, and I used to like them. So last night I went to the store and bought some Carnation Instant Breakfast, the high protein, and it has 18 grams of protein per pouch. And I'm going to be mixing this with a skim milk to give me a different flavor also from the other protein drinks that I have, the Boost and the Premier, and see if I like it, just so I have a flavor change. Another thing that you can do, which is something that I have liked doing all of a sudden, they have flavor add-ins. So like you can go to the store and McCormick's and get like their, this is almond extract. And then I got a McCormick's cake batter flavored extract. And so then what you do is like you can add those to any of your liquids. So like if you wanted to add some cake batter to your, or not cake batter, yeah, cake batter to your chocolate Boost, then you could have like a flavor that kind of tastes like a chocolate cake. And so it gives you just a little more something. The other thing that I found was, I'm not going to say this right, Torani, the syrups that they use for coffee. You just want to make sure it's sugar free, and you can find these. You can order them online too, but I just go to the store and try to find what they have a couple different ones. They have classic hazelnut, and then there's I got classic caramel, and make sure they're sugar free. But you can add these to any of those drinks too. So like you can have a caramel chocolate whatever. You can also take the Premier and the Boost or any of these other waters also, and get like the instead of just drinking you all the time, get a one of the popsicle things from the grocery store, the plastic popsicle things. Pour some of those in there and freeze them and make a popsicle. So then you can have a popsicle instead of just drinking. Um, that way it changes it up a little bit, so you feel like you're getting something like a good treat rather than just drinking liquid and water. Uh, oh Lord, I think that's about all I was going to tell you this time. I'm going to go after my 2 weeks checkup, which will be the 2nd of October. I'll have my first checkup after surgery, and then I start my puree diet. During my puree diet, I might um, start a menu just like I did the other one, even though I think that's only 1 week, and then I go into the soft textures, and I don't know if that one's another week or 2 weeks before you go into the regular textures. So I will try to make video of every stage, so that way I can kind of help if you need some help and some ideas. If you have any suggestions or questions, you can always just like leave them on here for me, and I'll try my best to get back to them all. And all I can say is I hope you all the best, and I'll be back. Have a great day.